See, ladies, you should be alright. Cause I'm having a wonderful day. I wake up and thank God for it. Hey.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Yeah, welcome, everybody, to Friday, June 13th. I'm your man, SRD, a.k.a. Shadi Ali, with my man, Jay Sean,
Hey, hey.
a.k.a. Mr. F. Love.
All day.
And we here today. And, you know, I've gotten so comfortable with y'all as my family. I'm not even wearing a hat. I don't have no blackout. You know what I'm saying? So we here, family. So it's like, I'm straight up, no cut. You know what I'm saying? No cut today. You know,
No
like
filter.
having a shot with no chaser. So what's going on with you, brother?
Nothing much. Same old. Like I just had a tooth pulled Wednesday, and whenever you get our age and you got to get a tooth pulled, it's like you got to remember that that tooth been in your mouth for 50, 60 years.
For decades.
So it's not easy coming out, So he caught a lot of wreck getting it out my mouth, man. Like really, like
He had to yank.
he was grinding, that shit was breaking, and it was crazy. I was like, oh
Oh, okay.
man.
Wow. So
So
what was the purpose you got it out?
because last week I had started feeling it throbbing, my tooth throbbing. I thought it was my gums was just sore, and then it kept getting more intense. When it started traveling. So I really didn't know where it was at because it had my whole face hurting. So
Right.
I didn't know what tooth it was or if it was gums or I didn't know. Then I went to the dentist and they did an X-ray and they was like, okay, it's number 19. I was like, what's that? He's like, one from the wisdom tooth or two from the wisdom tooth, something like that. He was like, good thing you got insurance because it's expensive to get that tooth taken out. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm like, uh-oh. we
Oh,
about to we about to run into some drama
about to
trying to
break
get
the bank.
so they I went there and they numbed me up, gave me a couple of needles, and then they gave me the gas, the laughing gas to calm you down, and took them about 15 minutes to get it out because it kept breaking.
Oh, it's chipping up.
Yeah, but I never felt that much pressure, somebody that much force to get a tooth out. It was actually like if you took your fist, and pressed it into your hand as hard as you could. That's
Right.
how hard it felt like he was pressing down in my mouth. Like I was like, he can't be pushing down in my gums that hard. You know what
Well,
I
but you
mean?
got to remember too the location.
Yeah.
So the location plays a part in it as well. Like you in the back of your mouth. How wide you gonna open your mouth up?
But I'm thinking, imagine the damage that do to your gums pushing. You got to be pushing it down, off. It got to do a lot of damage. That's why
Well,
it's not healed yet.
yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that the tooth started breaking up. That's what caused the damage. The tooth probably already was decaying.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it started breaking up and what made it difficult because he had to get it out in pieces.
Yup. Mm.
So that's probably what that is.
I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Yeah,
Not at
yeah.
all. But anyway, that was my. What was your week like?
Mine's is still, the same as last week, man. Putting that work in on the book, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Getting closer and closer to the completion of it, and can barely wait.
Yeah.
Barely wait. So
Cause
excited, a little anxious, a little apprehensive. All the emotions. You get all those emotions coming with it because you want it to be everything you hope, but you don't know until you put it out.
Yeah, because you got to think. It's that's not an
Hey, what's
easy
up?
that's not an easy thing, you know.
Absolutely.
And not only the work you put on, it got a lot to do with courage and nerve. You know, if you writing your life story or somebody else's or whatever, or anything you working in, because you putting something out and you got to hope people is receptive to it. You know what
Well,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's where it comes to the point where you're a little. I'm a little apprehensive because I
Right.
don't know how people gonna respond to it. So hence, I be putting out little parts of the book. As you see, I put a lot little pages
Yeah, I like
as in,
that.
huh?
I like the way you be doing that.
Yeah. So I'm basically giving people an interlude into some of the stuff that I'm going to be speaking about.
That's what's up. Um, um, that's sort of like the book I had. The book I just wrote. It just came out Saturday. And me and my cousin had the book launching party Saturday at the Leneves, and he had a pretty good turnout. And I have heard back from a couple of people that said two or three people so far to tell me like the book was good. So
Okay.
it's always good when you get some positive feedback.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
that's what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
You want to hear that the book is good. So that's the main thing you want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly what you want to hear. And I got everything worked out in my mind how I want to go about doing it. So I'm still in the process of working on it, getting it together. That's it.
And you're gonna get it together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So pretty much the difficult part is really done right now because I'm really pretty much finished writing. It's just a matter of proofreading it myself before I allow somebody else to proofread it.
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to say that. Don't just depend on yourself to proofread it.
Right,
That's the worst thing to do. I did that for my first book. That's like when they say if you represent yourself in court,
right.
only what they say, only a fool, something. You got to have somebody else do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, the way you write it and the way you think, you look at it in that manner.
That's how it was. So I read the book, but I talk like I write like I talk. So
Right,
I already knew when I was reading it, like I know what it's supposed to say and what it's gonna say and all that
right.
stuff like that.
It's,
So
yeah, and sometimes you miss words.
yeah,
you,
yeah,
so
a
so
lot of a lot of words.
so that's what I'm realizing myself that I during my own proofreading I'm realizing that I was missing words, so I
Yeah,
changed things around.
you're gonna
But
have to get you're gonna have to get somebody to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to do that when I get ready to get it pressed up. I'm going to have them edit it and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Proofread, edit, and format.
yeah. It's
So
it's a beautiful thing once it's all done, though.
yeah, yeah. Anything. The reality is anything that you take time and put effort in, and once you complete it, it's a beautiful thing, no matter what
Hmm.
it is. You
Yep.
know, playing a game of chess, playing a game of checkers. You know what I'm saying? Putting fixing something in your house that you've been, like anytime I do something, I marvel at the completeness. Even after I like cut the hedges, then I'll watch,
Doing the
go take a look.
garden,
Huh?
doing the garden.
Yeah. It's similar to where, in the Bible or the Quran, where it says after Allah had created the earth, he sat up in his high place and looked at what he had done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's all. That's all it is.
it's a beautiful thing, though, man.
So,
I
so
can't
what
I
was
can't wait till it's out.
Yeah, yeah. So what was your thought about BET? Did you watch it?
No, I didn't get to see it.
Oh, okay. I caught a few bits and pieces of it. You
Yeah,
know.
I didn't get to see it, and I usually watch it, but I didn't get to see it this year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know how it's gonna come on 1,000 times.
Yeah. I'll get to catch it maybe the next one
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and see how it is. But it feel good to be back, man. You know, we took a
Yeah,
week off,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
so it definitely feels good. Trying to get this other phone to work.
Yeah. So let's get into some questions, man. Let's get into some questions for the people.
All
You
right.
know?
I can't remember who went first last time.
Well, I think you did. So, my question is like, there's a lot of, cheating going on. Well, I infidelity. You know what I'm saying? Because cheating is really, when you really look at the definition of cheating, it's something else entirely than
Okay,
what we say. You know, but
that's true.
yeah, infidelity, and it's just a matter of like, for me, you at the at can you do you think that you can look at a woman the same after she's been unfaithful to you?
That's a good question. You um, I guess you could put that into a lot of different parts. Of whether you could look at a woman. I'm just talk. We talking from the men's point of view because I'm sure ladies gonna want to say the same thing. Can you look at a man and say once he's been unfaithful? So, if a lady want to say something, she could say it. But I'm just giving you the my male point of view right now is that I don't think you could look at her the same once she has cheated on you. Um, I don't even think the relationship can ever really be the same. The relationship can continue. The the friendship can continue. Um, I don't know about the bond because see that would be like breaking a bond. You know what I mean? I look at it like when a man cheats on a woman. See, a lot of times women forgive men easier than when a man forget a woman because as a man we know that when a woman lays down and open her legs for another man, it gotta be a really reason why she doing it. You know what I mean? Like men, we cheat for the moment or the opportunity or the visual. You know what I mean? But I think for a woman to cheat, it's got to be more, more involved for women to cheat. Not all of them, but most of them.
So you're saying the bond, meaning that the connection has been severed to a
Right,
certain extent, because once a woman, most times when women, you know, are unfaithful, there's some emotional attachment
right,
connected to it. Whereas a man can do it just at a fly at a moment, and there's no real connection. So
right.
so you saying like, so it'd be difficult for you to look at her the same, because technically, emotionally, it won't be the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Um, I really don't think you could ever look at them the same. Even if you forgive them, or you know they made a mistake, I really don't know. I mean, what that we should. That's what I said, and you kind of said what I was thinking. But what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thing is, for me, and I kind of put it in a book like that, and people are different about this, but I feel like in the times that it happened to me, that I played a part in it based on, at those times, my own insecurities. And why the reason why I say that is because I wasn't in a good place emotionally. I was pushing those emotions off on the women, and not knowingly, unknowingly pushing them into somebody's arms, because I was already saying they were doing something or thinking they were doing something, and I really had no proof. So by the time they actually did something, it was like I basically solidified, or I basically talked it into existence from the way that I was talking. And remember, if you get to a point and you think somebody's being unfaithful, some not only are you going to change the way that you speak with them, you're going to change how you interact with them.
Right,
So my thing is, okay, if I feel that way, now I'm not going to be giving you something that you probably need, because I'm already feeling like you're doing something. So now I'm withholding something that you might need it. Otherwise, if I wasn't thinking like that, I would be giving it.
right.
So that's how I look at it. So for me, it's something like, you know, I I had this saying I would say, I trust you until I bust you. You know what I mean? I got to a point where, after I got older, I started saying like, that's that's going to be the last thing on my mind. It's going to be me striving to do whatever I can to make a woman don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Make her
Hmm.
feel like, oh, if I do that to him, look what I'm throwing away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my mentality about it. Like, I'm striving to be that guy, go that extra mile. You know, where most where I've found most individuals, especially males, we have a tendency to think, man, if I break her back, I got her. You know what I mean? I break her back, I got her. But the thing with that is, most cats thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
everybody's trying to do that type of thing. So
Yeah.
what is it that you can do that most cats are not thinking about? That's gonna make a woman really connect to you. You know. So
Hmm.
that's my thought on it. So I mean, I guess to overall, to it all, if it happens to me, I of course I'm gonna look differently. And at this phase of my life, however, I always say that anybody is capable of being unfaithful. We all are capable of being unfaithful, given the right place and the right circumstances.
That's true.
So
That's true.
depending on how much we have, like, if everything is great and that happens, and it can, because for me, it's like, I can imagine how many people have thrown away uh, probably their best relationship over that.
Yeah, a
best
lot.
relationships they ever had. You know what I'm saying?
A
Over,
lot.
yeah. So that's something to think about. You
Yeah,
know
it
what I
is.
mean? And I'm just giving it a different perspective. You know?
Yeah, it makes sense though. It makes a lot of sense. Well, moving right along. Um, this question right here that I have for you is like, well, this could answer. This could this. I like to see which way you're gonna go with this because this could mean a lot of things. um, but what are what are something that we as people need to work on?
Oh, so, okay. So some things as we as a people, there's that's a good question because there are things, like one of the things that come to mind right off the top of my head that we need to work on as people, as individuals is how we treat each other. You know what I'm saying? I think that we don't treat each other like we want to be treated. Like hence why my name is Do Home. Do unto others as you wish them to do unto you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when it comes to us, and even though it's us as a people that we're talking about, this happens us as a race of humans, us as a species.
Right,
There are things like, for example, let's go this route. When you look at, when we were children, things that our parents used to ask us, we had no problem doing
right,
it. And even if we did have a problem, most times we wouldn't show it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because we knew what came after that.
right.
Nowadays, it's like when it comes to younger people or your children, when you ask them to do something, they're going to give you the most difficult time to do whatever you ask them to do. And the thing is, even to the point where they may not even do what you ask them.
Mm,
And on the flip side of it, they're going to be looking for you to do something for them at the flash, at the drop of a hat.
right. True.
So that's what I mean by treating people the way you want to be treated. Look, if you ask me to do something for you and you expected me to do it, then I should be feeling that same way towards you. I should be able to ask you to do certain things for me. Even and most times with your children, it's advice. We don't really want them to do much for us, except we want them to be good. So we give them advice that would help them be good.
Right,
So if I give you advice and you ignore the advice and you end up in a hardship, now you coming to me saying, "Oh, Dad, can you help me out? Can you do this? Can you look out for me? Can I need this? I need a couple dollars, whatever it is." Now it's a thing of, okay, what? How do I respond to that? Especially after me giving you advice and
mm-hmm.
you're not taking my advice, which would have more than likely prevented you from getting into the situation you're in anyway.
Exactly.
So this is where, as a parent, we have to take a position because as much as you want to help your children sometimes it's better to let them work through it and figure it out for themselves. Give you an example. Another thing when when my mom first had me left back, you know what I'm saying? It messed me up, but then it was a situation where now it's my problem. She may have made the call, but now it's my problem. Now I got to deal with coming to the sixth grade for the second year, which during that time at 12 years old messed me up. Then it happened again. When it happened again, now I knew it was on me. It's definitely on me. So now dealing with those hardships and finding a way to work through them actually helped me to to be able to maneuver better. So sometimes if we bail our children out every time they get into something, we're not teaching them what real life is about.
Exactly.
So I think my short answer is that we need to help each other, but at the same time be mindful of how far we go when it comes to certain situations. You know.
That's a good answer. Um,
So what do you think that something that we need to work on as a people? What is your thoughts about something that we need to work on?
I I really feel like we waste a lot of time. We waste a lot of time holding grudges, being angry with somebody, worrying about what somebody else is doing, um, waiting for somebody to make our situation better, um, pushing problems on other people. I really believe that if we, as a race, just concentrated on ourselves, that the world would be a better place. I'm not saying isolate yourself from the world. I'm saying concentrate on yourself. Concentrate on making yourself better. Um, Blocking out the negative. You know what I mean? Just block the negative out. Even if the negative is coming from you. If
And
the
most
negativity is coming from you, then you need
right,
to work on you. If you angry with everybody, if everybody is pit, just I told somebody earlier, I said, man, I gotta cut a lot of people off. I gotta cut a lot of people off, man, because I'm doing more for people than they doing for me. But really that makes no sense because I'm telling somebody else what I need to tell myself. I'm
right.
telling somebody else something I need to do when I need to do it myself. What's the use of telling somebody else I'm gonna make my circle small? I'm gonna stop messing with this person, or this person ain't no good for me, or they all they do is bring me problems, or dealing with this person it ain't beneficial to me, or this is a bad relationship, or this is a bad situation. What's
Yeah,
the use of that? Everything that I'm telling somebody or thinking about telling somebody, I just need to tell myself. And that's what I mean about a lot of people. We need to work on ourselves. Because a lot of times, if you think about it, if sometimes you might wake up in a good mood, right? And then your phone start ringing or texts start coming in. Or it could be something in your house. And just like that, it could just mess up your whole day. It could just throw you off. Somebody else's problems. somebody else bullshit. You know what I mean? What somebody else is doing in their world, and it just could throw you off. So what I believe that we need to start working on as people, I believe we need to start working on ourselves. Self savior.
No, I mean, hey,
Save yourself before you save others.
self preservation, self
Yeah,
preservation. No, I totally agree.
yeah.
Um, I think the reason a lot of times we say things to other people before we do it is sometimes for like confirmation.
Hmm.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it is.
We're looking for confirmation to
Yep.
say, yeah, I feel the same way. I, I was just thinking the same thing. You know what I mean? And
Co-signer.
right, and then it motivates you a little more to take the actions that, as you said, once we be able to internalize things, then we just jump on it. You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
nothing wrong. And it's nothing wrong with that
No, no,
because and they. I mean, they. That's why they say two heads is better than one, or each one teach one, or it's no um it's no I in team. You know what I mean? It's the
yeah,
same way because that's how the world is. Everybody can't motivate themselves. Everybody ain't got the genius mentality. Everybody don't got the get up and go mentality. Like everybody can't do what we do in a podcast. Everybody can't write a book. Everybody can't play a guitar. Everybody can't rap. Everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody, you can't just get up and do things. Sometimes you gotta. All rappers that wasn't born rapping.
right,
Some of them just seen people rapping and said, "Oh, I'm gonna start doing that." You know what I mean? Or all podcasters didn't just wake up and say, "Well, I'm born to be a podcaster." You know what I mean? Like you seen a podcast and you liked what's going on, and then you motivated to do it, or somebody told you. You know, people was telling me when I write before I ever wrote a book. People was telling me I should write a book before I even thought about it. Because I used to always tell stories about my life. People like, man, you should write a book. You know what I
right.
mean? So we
So
just
it
need to
can be a
we just need
positive.
to
It
work
can
on
be a positive thing with the
positive.
right type of feedback when you
Yeah,
put something out.
we
Uh,
we that's we need to work on ourselves, but it's okay to have positive feedback around you, not negative, positive.
right. Well, as you were saying, and I think you had a valid point when you said that you are surrounded by a lot of people who are basically takers rather than givers.
And not. I don't mean naturally in a bad way.
Right. I get it. But see, the thing that goes back to what I was saying when I was talking about your children. You know what I'm saying? People people want help. We all need it. No,
Hmm.
there's nobody. There's even people who say that they're self-made. There was somebody helping them.
Of course,
You know what I mean? Nobody's self-made where they did every and all the things by themselves. They
nobody.
found people to help them do what it is that they doing. So that's with all
Everything,
of us.
everything.
Right. So that's with all of us. So it's just a matter of getting the right people around you and being around the right people to make whatever it is that you are striving to do happen and be able to do the same thing for them to help them get where they trying to go. And I
Right.
think that's what we need more of because you we have a lot of people who want to watch. They want to watch the doers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they watch and they talk about the doers rather
Yeah.
than helping the doers. so
I,
that the doers can do more, and then they don't have to just be standing around watching and talking.
that exactly, let me clear this up. I don't mean that the people around me is taking from me. The worst thing that I'm giving them is time.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I mean. Like when it's taken, because time, especially where we at in our lives, time is something you can't get back. Money you can make back. Time you can't. Whatever day you waste, that day is gone. It never comes back.
They ain't coming back.
It never
Time
comes
is the
back.
essence. Time is the essence.
Right. So when people are wasting your time, you're wasting valuable parts of your life.
That's it. That's it. Bingo. I'm giving away too much of my time.
Yeah. And it's not, and the reality is it's not their fault. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
it ain't.
Because you as an individual get to say, look, I'm willing to give you this, but I'm not willing to give you that. You know what I mean? I got 15 minutes for you. That's all I got. You know what I mean? I can't give you 20 minutes. I can't give you 17 minutes. I give you 15 minutes. After that, I got to bounce. You know what I mean? We have the right as humans, as individuals, to say, look, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not. That
Yeah.
that you know. But unfortunately, because when you care about people, you love people, and there's some people just good at what they do. Some people good at extracting your time too. They just good at it. You know what I'm saying? They good at that. You can get on the phone with them and think you're gonna be for 5 minutes. You end up being on there for like an hour,
Amen.
and you trying to hang up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Amen. Amen.
so
Amen.
yeah.
Amen.
But hey,
Yeah, we've been on
that's
that. We've been on that one too long now. We could
yeah,
talk about that for the whole show.
yeah. It could go along with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see something here. Like now, we've known each other pretty much, as most people who know us know we've known each other since we were basically 9 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Long
So
time.
yeah, that's longer than a lot of people have been living. A lot of people haven't lived as long as we've known each other.
Hmm.
You know, so you know, and all that time, what do you think now? After all this time, uh, make you want to choose to date BBWs?
Big beautiful women. um, it was a time, just like it was a time when light skin was in when we was young. Remember, it used to be
Right,
light
right.
skin was in,
Yeah,
light skin guys, light skin girls,
yeah,
the long hair.
yeah.
It was a time when big women didn't have self esteem, and they will admit it too. In the '70s and the '80s and stuff like that, it might have been. I'm not saying all of them, but it's not like it is today. Um, so when I put it all in a nutshell, is that I don't need. And I'm not saying the big girls is not beautiful or nothing like that, or stuff like, you know what I mean. I'm not looking for. um a hour shape. I'm not looking
Okay,
for. I'm not looking for a Coke.
hourglass body.
I'm not looking for a Coca-Cola shape. I'm not looking for red bones and with long wave. I'm not looking for that. So
Hey, what's
like
up, kid?
when I say I like big women, that's like a figure of speech. What I'm really saying is that I don't go by looks. I go by how people treat me. You know what I mean? If it's a if it's a big girl out there and you want to and you want to and you got a good attitude and respectful and know how to act at home and abroad, then that's cool with me. Um, if you a small chick, you know what I mean, and you got your morals and everything together, that's cool too. Um, so when I be saying like I like big women and all that, I like big women. It's more a figure of speech where I'm saying I'm not going for looks anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Somebody just asking what is the topic. Um,
We got a couple of
the topic is basically, are we choosing people for looks,
them.
or are we choosing people based on what they bring to the table, what type of qualities they got? That's what the topic is. That's what we're basically speaking on. You know,
That's like would you have married a big woman?
I mean, that wasn't my preference. You know what
Right.
I mean? And it's and I could say that, okay, that's vanity in me. I could say that's my own vanity. It but as you grow, it comes to a point where, okay, certain things you can look over. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you can look over if other things are in place. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a million and one people who are visual. If they are not attracted to you by the sight, they're not even going to give you the opportunity to get to know what your personality is like. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because the first thing is the visual. And let's face it, we're in a society that promotes that. It promotes the visual, how
Right.
you look. You know what I mean? It's not being promoted about what type of character you are, what type of character you have, or what type of person you are. It's either the visual and the monetary. So women be like, okay, if you're not that attractive, if you got money, then okay, maybe we can work with that money. So
Mm.
it's still things, but the reality is, no matter who we are, we all want something when from somebody else. We all want something. Like, if you don't want looks, like you said, you want a person that's going to treat you in a certain manner.
Right.
Now, if you get looks, a lot of times people get looks and they're so comfortable with the looks till they don't even care how the people treat them, or money, or sex. Sometimes it's sex. It depends on the individual and what you're looking for and what you're comfortable with. You know what I mean? If
That's
you're
true.
comfortable, we each as individuals know what we can tolerate and what we cannot tolerate. So that's where it goes to.
That's true. That's true. Um, good answer. Good answer. Um, that that brings us. You ready for the next question?
Yeah, yeah. Men who rely Men who rely on face are prostitutes. Okay, why you say that?
Men who rely.
She said men who rely on looks are prostitutes. So you know,
I guess I don't know.
yeah, yeah. But
Um.
explain that one to me when when you get a chance. That's my niece, Shakira.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, so
Um.
let me know that one because you make me want to pull you on, and you can tell me what you mean with that one.
um.
Yeah, go ahead with the next question.
Oh, hold on. Let me plug this phone up. Battery getting weak.
So it's like you pimping yourself out.
I kind of think I know what she mean though.
Yeah.
A little bit. Um. Hope this charges. Um. Um. Well, that brings us to the next question. We got some good questions tonight. Um. If it's a little bit different. Um. If we were the first people on if we were the first people on the earth, which we were, if we were the first people on the earth, why do you think that we are still paying European taxes for most of all of our needs?
Mm. So you say I mean um that's why I kind of asked you about BT because when Stevie Wonder got up, he was supposed to be uh honoring Jamie Foxx.
Uh
He
huh.
when he got up, when he the first thing came out of his mouth was, "We were the first people on the planet."
That's what Stevie said.
Yeah, he said, "We are the first people on the planet, and everybody else is our children." So he said, "We need to work it out." That was his thing. He was like, "Everybody else is our children. We need to work it out."
Hmm.
And so and he's not the only person that I've heard say that we were the first people on the planet. I've heard that uh, if I had $1 for every time I heard it, I'll have a half a million. You
Oh,
know
all
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
So if that's true, and to some degree I believe it is, then why, for me, if that's true, with that question you asking me, why would we be paying other people to live on the land that we own? Like it's like okay, it's like if you was renting an apartment out,
Yeah.
right, and you got the tenant in the apartment, somehow the tenant is staying in the apartment, but
Right.
now the tenant got you paying them to stay in your apartment.
Yeah.
So I look at it like that. If you know what I'm saying. So the reality is, if why would we continue to pay Europeans to stay in a land that if we owned it first, why aren't they paying us?
Right.
Why aren't they paying us to live here? Why are we paying them for light bill, water, mortgages, car loans, et cetera, et cetera?
Right.
So it's something to really think about. But when you really examine how we ended up getting to that point, it's really about who controls the laws? I mean, if you don't have insurance, what happens when you driving your car? What
Oh,
happens?
you gotta have insurance.
And why is that?
That's that's the law.
Okay, now think about it. Now, if you talk to some older people, there was a time where insurance wasn't a requirement when you
Right,
drove a car. You know what I'm saying? So, based on the laws that are being, you know, presented to us by the European, we abiding by the laws.
right,
So in my mind, it's like, to me, and people might think it's weird for me thinking like this, is okay when we often talk about plantations and things of that nature.
right,
How do you think slavery came to be? You know what I mean? Slavery means like a person gets to set the rules for you. If you're on a plantation, I get to tell you how much to pick, what you can't pick, how much I want back, that type of thing. And to me, it's not much different now when you look at what we're doing now. Like they, the US government tells us how much money they want out of our check, how much money we're going to get back, how much money we're going to spend at the store, how much money we're going to spend for rent. And here we're talking like this. We're talking about let's vote, let's vote. All we need to do is vote. That's going to change things. How many of us are voting and how much things are really changing? You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at ourselves and be like, hold up, is this really working for us? We All the people who voted for Kamala Harris was disappointed. And the reality is, my personal belief, Kamala Harris was just going to be another version of what Trump doing.
yeah,
He it's a system. It's a system that keeps Europeans in power. That's my view on it. It's a system that, as long as we, go into that system and don't think about having our own, when like Puffy has said, our own our own basically he was saying our own political party. But what we need is our own government. You know what I'm saying? We need our own government. I mean, Farrakhan, all of them has said it, but it's like, what do we do if look how the land was, look, when America came here as settlers, they came here as British. In 1776, we were told we got our independence. We've taught that in school. 1776, America got its independence from Great Britain,
right,
which binded us as their property, because now we didn't have a land no more. They took over our land. That's my thing. That's why I feel like, that we should have a land here. We shouldn't have to go back to Africa, because at the end of the day, you don't think people, our ancestors, were able to travel on boats just like the Europeans? We weren't that intelligent. If we were able to build pyramids and, you know 6, 7 story buildings and do heart surgery, then come on, we were able to be here. And, like, I've been studying, and it said that we as a people been here since 7,000 BC. So that meant we've been here prior to Columbus even thinking about coming here. So our land was taken through government. And the only way that we are going to be able to really see results as a people is to establish our own government. That's my answer. I believe that we shouldn't be paying the European for everything. They should be paying us. That's what I believe. You know, they should be paying us to stay in our land. Like how Africa doing now. Africa cracking down. But they not cracking down for us. They cracking down for Africa. And I'm not mad at them. But we often say, look, we need to come together. Yeah, we can come together, but we can't come together unless we have something to offer to bring together. We can't come together to my, oh, we coming here as Americans, we're gonna offer y'all a piece of America. Trump gonna say, man, y'all better go sit down. You know, the US government gonna say you better go sit down because you're American. We tell you what to do. You follow our laws, you under our jurisdiction,
That's true.
you know? So, so that's my thoughts about that.
Um,
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Shakir. So why do we call ourselves African American, kid? If we ain't from Africa, we shouldn't be calling ourselves African Americans because we not right. All of us are not from Africa. Some of us came, but we not. Yeah.
what's next?
Okay. Let me see. If you saw one of your friends or your brother's, girlfriend or something with somebody else, what would you do? With another cat out, another cat in the street, chilling, flexing.
If
You
I
know,
saw,
if
if
you
I
saw
saw, if
like
I
you
saw
saw
one
my
of my
wife, my
friends,
wife, my wife, or you know what I mean, one of our guys, or your brother's wife, all booed up with somebody. What would you do?
hmm, I've been in a situation like that before a long time ago, and I never really told the person. Um, I was actually in Atlantic City, and I seen somebody, um, wife in Atlantic City, and I never told the person, but I still think about it to this day. See, that happened like back in the shit. That probably was the '90s, the '80s. That probably was the late '80s or early '90s. Um, I think it would depend on the relationship I had with the person. You know
with
what I
the
mean?
with the with the individual that you see? Okay.
Yeah, because you got to be careful because sometimes you might you might see somebody somewhere and you might go tell somebody, it might backfire on you because a lot of times you got to remember that people fight and they cheat and they do things, but they stay together. Now you the one that brought the you the one that brought the bad news. You know what I mean? They not gonna forget about that, but they gonna come back together. That's a real now. That's a really 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 tough question because and I would like to ask a lot of people that, men and women, because
Well,
people might
I
think
pretty
all women might say they would tell, but I don't think all of them would. Not all of them.
yeah. I think most of them do. Let me see.
You think most women would tell?
Most most of them, yeah. I think no matter how the relationship uh, is wrong.
Oh, well, put it like this. Put it like this. If if put it like, if I was married and you saw my wife, would you tell me?
Uh, it like I said, it depends on if it's something that I know for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I could see somebody, I could see it with somebody, and it's really not nothing. And then now I didn't came and said something to you, and now I didn't caused a rift between the two of you when it
That's what
really
I was
was
saying.
harmless. You know. Now, if I saw them and as my niece say, and she was like making a fool of you because she was Joker got his hand all on her butt, and you know what I mean, and it's obvious. Yeah, then I give you the heads up. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, okay, you get to choose. You can shoot me from being the messenger from telling you and be mad at me. You know what I mean? Or you can deal with it however you want. But I'm gonna feel like, okay, I pulled your coattail on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I pulled your coattail on it. Look, I saw, Cat had his hand all on her butt, tongue all down her throat. That's all I saw. So I don't know. You tell me what it is. You know what I mean? That's that. I don't know. He could have been a cousin. I don't know. You know what I mean? So so that's so you draw it up. So I would say something like that if I caught it like that.
It's a touchy subject though. It's a real touchy subject. But we getting tight with time. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
Um
We the time is, our time is up. Thanks, Shakia. Thanks, Margie. Thanks, Kev. Thanks all of you who are on YouTube. It's been a pleasure. And we striving to make it better. We only want to get better. Next time, Shakia, come on so we can talk. You know, try to come if you're not doing nothing next week, come on and I'll press you on so we can talk. All right. So I don't have to be reading what you're saying, so you can say what you want to say. All right. So until next week, as usual,
yeah, it was a
we
good
leave
show.
y'all all with
It was a good
love,
show.
peace,
Good
and
good show.
happiness.
Good show. Good show. Good show. Peace. Oh, I'm getting ready to go over to. I'm gonna do Facebook tonight too. I wasn't gonna do it, but I caught a lot of flack from that because a lot of people still want me to do Facebook. So hey,
Hey, man. I
got
mean,
gotta keep the
yeah,
cup one
look,
bad apple.
it's about the fans, man.
Yeah, two or
Like
three
like my
bad apples can't spoil the whole
yeah,
damn
like
thing.
like my man with the new song. Where them fans at? Put my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? You know what I'm saying? So like that, you gotta do it for the fans, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about the people. We do this for the people, man.
I was gonna shut it down, but show must go on, man.
Absolutely. I'm kind of awake. The other time I dozed off, so I probably peep in on you, see what's going on, see what you're talking about.
All right, I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about.
Well, you'll figure it out, brother. The people will motivate you.
Yeah, I'll think about something. I'm so everybody who want to continue, I'm gonna go over to TikTok J Sean 763, and I'll be on Facebook Randy J Sean Jackson in about 10 minutes.
All right, peace.
All right, peace out. Until next week. Good show, Sha. Good show.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
I say it too.
All
It's
right.
only gonna get better, brother.
That's right. Peace.
Peace.